everyone.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Hey, everyone. So, in spirit of the season, Xena and I decided to do a end of the year Q&A. This is the end of the first year of our, since we started the channel. We started it back in February. We'll be reaching our 1 year anniversary, at that time. But this is the first time we've gone through a holiday season. We've gone through Christmas, we've gone through Thanksgiving, and now we're going to be doing the new year. So we kind of wanted to take a look back at the channel as a whole, and we asked our community to go through and do questions. So I'll be reading those questions out loud after I get a drink of water, and me and Zena are going to be responding to them. So if you have questions and you're in YouTube chat, the request will be put those through Super Chats. You can donate for as low as $1, but because we don't watch YouTube chat during segments, you're going to have to donate in order for us to see them, okay?
What if Site Chat wants to add questions? How do we want to...
Site Chat can add questions if they like.
Because I want to go in order on the Discord.
Though I would prefer at this point, Discord's going to take precedent. If you want to ask questions on the site, you also need to do a dono.
Yeah, that'll probably do it.
To make it fair. All right, so our first question is from Minerva, Fae. For Xena, do you have any tips or tricks for migraine tracking? I'm redoing the Bujo for next year and could use some pointers.
Hi. So I do want to do a bullet journaling video for the year end because I've got a different spin on it than what I think most people tend to do. So hopefully I'll have some more pointers in there, but it depends on what you need. And I think that's the first question is why am I tracking this? What do I need out of this data? Okay. Do you need to know variety of triggers? Do you need to keep track of what days you've missed work? Are you like, I need to know how many days I'm getting migraine so I can get the right medication? The very simplest thing that I have done is I just put an M on the day that I have a migraine. I don't track anything else. And if I'm really rough and that's all I've got, that's what I've got. And I like putting those M's in my calendar along with the other things that I'm doing that day. And that is because from a mental health for me, it gives me an idea of what was actually going on with me around that time. So I know like, hey, I might be really depressed and it might have been because I've been having a lot of migraines lately. And it gives me the cue to kind of like, no, I should be easier on myself right now. So I like that a lot. If you're doing really complicated stuff, honestly, go try an app. We've used Migraine Buddy in the past. You can insert lots of different options for different triggers. Because again, there's food triggers, chemical triggers, sound, light, all sorts of different things that you could, or medications even. That's the other thing. You need to track what medications you take when you do it. I will show my journal format in a video more, but I've given myself 2 lines for each date. One for, regular stuff like appointments and shit that I'm doing. And then the other one to write any extra notes about chronic illness stuff that I need because there are other things that I need to track with migraines. So yeah, hopefully that gives you some ideas. But feel free to chat us up with the on the Discord more.
Yeah. Leo Child in Site Chat has said they have no money, and it sounds like they wish they could donate. If anyone would like to donate on behalf of Leo Child, in case Leo wants to ask a question, please do so. You can gift Leo a sub. You could also do a donation on their behalf. So if that's something you want. Anywho, Viri asks, all of these are for both of you. Have you seen the new Matrix movie yet? If so, what did you think? No, we haven't seen it yet. Xena's still catching up on Reloaded and Revolutions because when we did the commentary for Reloaded, Xena hadn't seen it before. So Xena wants to go back through and watch Reloaded and then also watch Revolutions before we do the commentary for that. So
yeah, it's for some context. The chronic health stuff started right around we were doing the Matrix movie watches. And we probably would have finished them all if chronic illness hadn't happened in the middle of that. But no, it's chronic. The stuff that I've been doing has been long running. So hopefully we will get back to some of those soon.
Yeah, so now I will say that the movie looks good. We're going to try to watch it sometime in the near future. Xena's going to try to watch the movies in this week or next. So if anyone wants to sit down on the server and watch stuff with Xena, that probably might make it a little bit more maneuverable. In fact, put in if you guys want in newcomer chat, tag Xena and let them know if you would want to watch a movie with them sometime this week during the day. I'm totally cool rewatching those movies. I think it'd be more fun with more people.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question. Do you have a favorite interpretation of quantum mechanics? I will be grading your answers. I don't know shit about quantum mechanics.
I have one. I'm gonna geek out for a second. So I don't know shit about quantum mechanics either, but Slime Rancher is one of my favorite games, and it's got the quantum slime, and they're yellow, and they phase through stuff, and they're just so cute and amazing. And they can't stay in Corrales. I'm very sad about that because I had like 40-1, and there was an update that let them phase through things instead, and now they've escaped all over that area of my ranch, which is sad. I'm very, very much looking forward to Slime Rancher 2, but the yellow quantum slimes are really great. They're not my top favorite, but they are in my most favorite slimes. That's all.
The only thing that comes to mind is Bell's theorem, which may or may not be quantum mechanics. And that is that two particles can be connected across, like, say, the universe, and if one is spinning one way and something causes it to change, it can actually cause change in another one. Oh, Volgerbich donated through Super Chat. For Leo Child. Wonderful. So, Leo, if you would like a free question, please put it in the chat. Volgerbich, that was incredibly generous. That's based really even. So that's the one I like. I like that idea that something across the universe by some unknown means could be communicated. To me, that fits into a lot of interesting spiritual and a lot of like interesting like thought experiments. I like that stuff. So next, looking back at the year, what did you like most about doing the channel? What did you dislike the most? And what was most surprising? We'll start with like.
You want to do this one at a time?
Sure. So like, what did you like about doing the channel?
I like a lot of things. I like Discord. I like the community part. I like that I get to do tech things, and I like running a community and organizing stuff. I actually really enjoy that. Chronic illness makes it hard. But I do like being in a space where I can like have very direct effects on things. We put out videos and that we know that directly helps people, right? We get a lot of those comments. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun getting to know new people. That's the other one. I've made a lot of friends through this, and it's really cool.
What did I like the most? So this is kind of surprising too, but I'll keep it in the like category. So there's two parts. One of them is the community we built. I really like our Discord, and I really like the people who were willing to engage with us and became moderators and supporters. You'll see them in chat as blue names or orange names. So Tiamat, Lil, Thanagor, let's see here, Gabriel, Kira, Patricia, who's rarely on but still in our hearts.
Patricia's just in a different time zone, that's all.
But these folks are individuals who really came forward and helped, and it really means a lot. And there's other folks that were there for a bit as moderators, but they sadly had to leave, or they weren't necessarily able to do the job we needed them to do. So those people, that's the thing I've liked the most, is just how much people are willing to help and assist. People believe in our work, which is a weird feeling. Right now we have an editor who's been doing some of the edits, and that person is doing the videos for pennies on a dollar just because they really like our content. And that's a weird feeling. So I that's something I've really liked about this. It's been really nice. The community that we built, the people that we get response for, like, that stuff is wonderful. So that's my like answer. As far as dislike, what have you disliked the most about this shit?
I mean, do you got a dislike? I mean, there's a few things I dislike.
Just go with it. Be panicking about this.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
So we would, if it wasn't the channel, we'd panic about something else. So me too. It's not just panicking at times. Okay. I think it's been what?
Nothing.
What now? Now
it really is just me panicking. Go.
Got it. Trolls can go suck it. Y'all are assholes. I don't like them. Sometimes some of the discourses, I don't dislike the discourse, okay? We disc and horse is our pet name for this. But I definitely have been not enjoying watching the trans community argue within itself with the transmasc and transfemme stuff, because that's been really hard lately. Because my brain kind of skips to, okay, I'm in a relationship with a transfemme person, I'm transmasc. She's cute. She's really cute. But it has this feeling of being at odds, I think. And you have to be really careful to balance all of these different pieces of nuance and all this different like trauma. And so you have to be really careful not to compare trauma because we spin out.
Well, and it sucks because we get pulled into it, right?
Like, absolutely. Like, we've been pulled into it.
So, like, one of us will make a statement. I'm not going to say who did what, but, like, one of us will make a statement and it'll be like, I really think there's some argument here that makes sense. And we're usually defending our own position, right? We're defending our position from our own identity.
Yeah, yeah.
And neither one's saying anything inappropriate, but it's because we get onto that place where it starts to cause us to become diametrically opposed because we feel like either transmasc or transfemme people aren't being represented. Like, I talk to a lot of transfemmes about this, and I get a very different interaction and understanding than what Xena's figured out or done research on. So it's like there's a lot of it's a really toxic and really viscous discussion. That sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been one of the harder things to deal with. It's just, and it's always this feeling of like I have a need that or at least a very strong one, but I need spaces that are going to be accepting and kind and compassionate to both myself and my partner. And there's a reason I'm careful with what spaces I'm in, right? If there's a lesbian space that didn't accept my trans partner, no, I'm not going to be there. And so I also need a trans space that is going to be accepting of both of us too. And it's really hard to read through that stuff because there's a lot of stuff there. And we are also great examples, that we've talked about in other videos, of this weird dichotomy of what happens to transmasc versus transfemme people. And so that's been really hard to see that, like, in, Twitter logs and Reddit logs, and then, also just be the living example of that. Like, I don't like when Jess gets harassed by people or, harassed or told really awful things. Like, I hate that. Like, can we not do that to my partner? And I don't like when I get ignored either. They're both causing problems. So, yeah. And that's my biggest dislike.
Yeah, ditto for everything Xena said. I'm also going to say this is like, I don't know how to say this PC, like, in a way that's, like, gentle. I fucking hate simps.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Like, here's my thing.
Well, they do the same dichotomy that I was just talking about. Yeah, they do the same deal.
But here's the thing. If you like me, I'm available on the server. I'm not saying I'm available to everyone, and I don't respond to every single tag, though I try to. As the channel gets bigger, that's probably not going to be as likely. But here's what I want to make clear. I generally try to be accessible. There's some ways you can't get a hold of me. You can't DM me unless there are many things in line. And here's the thing. I try to be as accessible as possible because I want you guys to be able to have a connection with us. I don't like parasocial relationships, and I like people to actually know who we are. I say some dumb shit on Discord chat. And you know what? My community calls me out for it. Like, our community legitimately, like, supports me, especially when I'm having an issue, or, like, when someone's having a really rough time. Like, we don't go at them. We don't do any nonsense. We try to be sort of as possible, and I like that stuff. What I don't like is simping, because not only does it duplicate the effects that Xena's talking about, but what it does is it puts me in a really weird place. Because if you like me, like, our relationship is very complicated. And if someone likes me, I have no problem with that. There are two people right now that I'm just flirting with and talking to as friends, and I really enjoy it. They're really great. Xena is completely aware of them. And the thing is that those people didn't come to me as like oh, Jess, I love your work. You're so great. Literally, one of them was like, I fucking hate streamers.
Wow, that's a way to start it off. All right.
Yeah, I fucking hate streamers. Also, your King of Pride takes are fucking cringe. And then like after calling this person out for being a bit of a doof, like they ended up buying me a cute outfit. Like another person like just came out of nowhere and was really like came out of nowhere and was really nice. But like there's people that don't do that. They do this thing instead where like they come in, they immediately try to like tag me as much as humanly possible, and they just ignore Xena. And the problem is that I'm now put into a position of I want to try to engage with this person in a friendly way, but I'm also frustrated now because like my partner, who already struggles with emotional issues and trauma around being left out or being like exiled essentially, is getting that happening in this circumstance, and it really sucks. I hate like, that shit.
Yeah, or like my entire expertise and like everything gets ignored. Like the fact that I could have any expertise is just not even acknowledged, which is a lovely piece of sexism. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is my big dislike is if you like me in some way, I don't mind you reaching out. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Also, I think Jess is amazing. Like people should like Jess. Jess is amazing. There's a reason I love her. So,
but I also just want people to like not ignore my partner and don't do it in ways that feel very parasocially. Don't engage with me like I'm
a person.
Yeah, like be a person. Actually get like there are some. I'm gonna call a few people out. Not directly. I'm not gonna name their accounts, but I'll say some names. There are people that come on Discord chat and LiQWYD when we talk sometimes that are like, what is it? We've got Netspace, who's from DM's community. We've got Viri Rona. We've got Ruth, and these people are all super cool and nice.
We've got Ellie.
We've got Lil. Like these are the regulars. Tiamat. These folks actually come and engage, and it doesn't ever feel like I'm being like used or like their like of me is now an exclusion to cutting out Xena somehow. Because there's motherfuckers that have done that. That's my big dislike. So that's my thing. I really frustrate with that. Yeah. So next question. What was most surprising? Being part of a YouTube channel?
I think the fact that this happened in the first place.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay, we weren't sure if I was going to need my gallbladder removed last February. I was really depressed too, so was Jess. And Jess was like, I'm starting this thing. Okay. Hey, I'm getting some art for this thing. Okay. Hey, I'm streaming every week. All right. Hey, Zena, you want to stream with me? Okay. I'm still surprised I'm here. I'm surprised that this happened in the first place. I still gotta grapple with that.
So this wasn't a surprise. I'm just adding to that story. I've told this before. Like I was dealing with severe depression, and Xena was really struggling. And here's the thing: as much as I'm good at talking to you guys, I am awful at talking to my partner. And so one of the things that sucked is, if you look at the channel artwork, I had always intended for this channel to include Xena. Always. There was never a point where I was like, no, that's not a thing. Because I wanted them to have an outlet. I wanted them to be part of things. I really like them. And the thing is that like, I paid for this artwork. It was like 150 some odd bucks. Got this artwork, and like Xena's like, oh, I'm part of this. Like, wow. And I was like I just sucked at communicating any of this at the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing. I did this out of like desperation and depression. I wasn't looking to have like a YouTube career. I wasn't looking to have anything. I just wanted to put out some silly videos and see if anyone noticed. So yeah, that's your surprise. I'm surprised how much like reaching out to other content creators works. I'm gonna be really honest. Like I'm annoying. Like I'm really annoying when I want to be like.
I think she's annoying in the hot way, but you know.
Like I don't know why people talk to me. It's actually something I struggle with. So like, but like we make a video and we try to be as fair as possible to Jessie Gender. Who shows up? Jessie Gender, and like touting our video, and the video gets a huge amount of likes and fucking views, and it's really awesome. We talk about FD Signifier's videos, and I've had pleasant interactions with him on Twitter, and he's used some of the articles I posted about his video talking about the Dave Chappelle stuff. Like, that's cool. That's really fucking cool. Vosh follows us on Twitter. I know that's not a huge deal to other people, but to me, it's like, this is a person I actually genuinely think is really intelligent and very, like, as much as there may be things we disagree on the big stuff, or we agree on the big stuff, and I like that. Holy shit, Demon Mama. Demon Mama and Demon Mama's community have been one of the single most positive forces for this channel.
Oh no, they're super cool. We've met so many cool people from there. Like,
because we gave a fair critique to both RGR and Demon Mama, and you can tell the character of a person, and you can send this clip to Demon Mama. You can tell the character of a person by how they deal with critique. Jessie Gender, absolute, just lady, lovely. Demon Mama heard our concerns, acknowledged them, and was cool. RGR has blocked us on Twitter now because RGR kept doing crazy shit. That's the surprising thing for me, is how much people are willing to engage with us. Like, again, like, I'm trying to think of other content creators who have, like, engaged with us recently. Again, Bimbo Politics I really love. Let's see, Demon Mama, Celine, who's a small YouTuber, friend of Demon Mama's, Doe, of course, like, I got a really, like, Beyonce first. We got a really sweet message from Doe and DMs about, like, being really appreciative of our videos. I will get to that in a moment, T-Matt.
Yeah.
We just got to finish this question.
T-Matt, will you copy and paste it at the end of the
site chat?
Discord? No, at the end of the end of your Q&A channel. In
the
Discord.
Yeah.
Because I will get to that. Unless, Leo, if you have to go, let us know. Okay, let us know before you gotta leave.
Thanks, love. You're pretty and we love you. But that's my surprising thing is that I thought a lot of these people would be standoffish and just disagree or just not engage with us. And instead, gotten really nothing but respect. I haven't really gotten a lot of shit from Vosh's community about the critiques I've made about his points. Jessie Gender's community's been nothing but nice to us. I think the only content creators, or the only people that are, like, in the YouTube-y sphere kind of, that have really had an issue with us have been RGR.
We're probably just gonna kind of keep
keep moving.
Questions. We've been on
and
here
like
a while.
and like I don't know, like, oh, and Caleb Moppin blocked us on Twitter, but fuck him, he's an RT propagandist. So anyway, moving on.
Lastly, how good has Bun been this year? Very good, extremely good, or extraordinarily good?
All three.
Absolutely.
She's such a good pupper.
She's a very good pupper. She's a turd and amazing. And I love her so much. So
we dare not speak her name, Ruth. We dare not speak her name for fear that it will summon her or her fans. No, in all honesty, like, if there's one video I go back and forth on, it's the Lily Orchard video. Like, I'm really glad I did it and really handled that aggressively. On the other hand, I do feel like it kind of gives a misrepresentation of what the channel's supposed to be. Because that
brought people here in a lot of ways.
We are still get hundreds of views on that video every week. Like, it's hard to engage with. So it's hard to figure out what to do. And I still hold to the thing. If Lily keeps coming at me out about professional stuff, then I will say something. She hasn't. She's just been keeping to her little corner of being a doof on Tumblr, so fair enough. Anywho, so Violence has 4GS. I heard you like changing the Lost and even based the Fae part of your pronouns off it. If you have chosen a seeming and core to the game, what would it represent? If Xena played as well, I'd like to know what Air's seeming and core would be too, but I haven't heard any interest on Air's part. So I don't think you know anything about changing the Lost.
So I probably know a buttload about changing of the Lost because Jess has spent many hours during our relationship telling me about it.
That's possibly true.
Have I read the books, played the game? No, but Jess used to actively play, right? So I'm going to let Jess come up with a court and a seeming for me.
Sure.
Is what I'm going to do.
I'll stick with the basics of the rules and basics of the game. If I had to choose my own seeming, so seemings are the type of changeling you are. They're a thing where you are, what was your place in Faerie? Which is, if you were, say, the flame of a candle, you'd be an elemental changeling, right? You'd be fire-based. If you were there to be the love interest of a Fae, which I don't recommend, you would be a Fairist, etc. I would probably say that I would probably either be... I would probably be a Fairist. I feel like I resonate with them the most, especially some of their powers and some of the things they do. I really like them. As far as courts, I really like Spring Court. So each of the courts, the 4 courts are there to keep a cycle up because they're basically a ways to disconnect from the Fae. The Fae don't understand cycles or systems, so by having the courts be a thing that have rotating power, they don't understand that concept. So each of the different ones represents something. Spring is desire, summer is wrath, autumn is fear, and winter is sorrow. For me, I really like desire. I really like the idea of what the Spring Court does. I like their powers. I like their ideas. I think they're really cool. If I had to choose a second, it would be autumn because then you get to be a scary Halloween monster. Those would be my thoughts. With Xena, I'd probably do like a hybrid of a beast and a wizened of some type, or maybe an elemental, because I feel like Xena would be, because I have to blend the tech stuff with the animal stuff, because Xena's very naturey, but also very techy. I would probably do some kind of like clockwork rabbit, if I'm honest. So something in a beast, maybe with some tweaks from the Equinox Roadbook. And if I was to pick a court, how would Xena deal with coming back from Faerie? No, you'd be summer.
Okay.
You wouldn't deal with it through sorrow. You wouldn't deal with it through by provoking fear in people, so they would stay away from the Fae. You wouldn't necessarily go in desire, although that would be a close second. You would be summer. Those are the ones of wrath. They're the ones that when the Fae show up, they grab baseball bats and go hit them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, no, that they are ones that actively want to destroy the true Fae. So that would be my answer to that. Let's see here. Astra, I know this is a loaded question, so please answer it at your own discretion. What are your thoughts on the critique of talk therapy that claims the power imbalances between clients and therapists is inherently detrimental to a therapeutic relationship?
You gotta slow down reading that.
Want me to read it again?
Or at least the last half, but yeah, you.
Sorry, I know this is a loaded question, so please answer it at your own discretion. What are your thoughts on the critiques of talk therapy that claim that the power imbalance between clients and therapists is inherently detrimental to the therapeutic relationship? Can I be honest? I think they don't understand how power works. I actually think it's a really bad argument. So, power can be misused. Zen teachers have done it and slept with students. Therapists have done this and slept with clients. Doctors have done this and slept with clients. Like, there are numerous ways in which people can breach into that dual role area. And to me, at least, I guess what I feel like is the therapeutic relationship isn't necessarily a power dynamic until it is. Because in reality, the client is the one that has the power. They can get up and leave at any point. Sure, I'm an expert, but I don't try to wield power in a session. I try to be on an equal playing field with my clients. I don't think that power imbalance as far as creating a structure or a container for a person to deal with their stuff is harmful to the therapeutic relationship. What harmful to the therapeutic relationship is when you break boundaries. Right? When you break boundaries or you engage in dual roles, you shouldn't be friends with your clients. You shouldn't bang your clients. You shouldn't ever interact with them outside of therapy. Period. Now, my code of ethics suggests that you can do this after 5 years. You can be friends with whoever, whatever. 5 years is their argument. And even then it's a little wishy-washy. But no, my argument is that if you are my client, there's probably no way in hell that's ever going to happen, because my fear is that the power you give me, even if I never wield it or exercise it, could somehow be harmful in a dual role situation. Mm-hmm. So that's why you don't do it. So I don't think that's a useful critique, because I think it's missing a huge amount of context into how people use power. That's my thought.
The other thing I was going to add is that as a client, again, you're the one paying this person. You are the person signing, forms and agreeing to be there, right? At some point, if you go, no, I don't want to do this anymore, you just stop. You stop paying this person to give you a service. And I think it's important to keep that in mind. And again, this is why Jess and I are like, if your therapist is not working out for you, they don't have the knowledge that you need them to have, or they're saying cringy, awful things that are probably against their ethics codes. Okay? Covered a few of those people. Like, no, you go get somebody else who can provide the service for you that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Silent asks, do you have any thoughts on the concept of New Year's resolutions? Is there a healthier way to approach self-improvement? So I have a thought on this, if you don't want.
I can go first.
Okay. So I think there's a problem in goal setting, and that is that I don't like the fact that people suddenly start setting a fucking ton of goals at the end of the year. It seems weird.
Oh, that's where I was going earlier.
I'll let you go more into that. My bigger issue with this one is that I don't think people know how to actually engage in these things. One of the big ones is habit building. Habits are hard to acquire, and the way you do them is by starting slowly and steadily and then building. The biggest problem with this is that a lot of people do this weird ass thing where they like rush to it. We make the jokes about 2 weeks after after New Year's, the gym is closed.
Yep.
Right? That's the problem. When people rush into it and do like 7 days at the gym, just pushing it really great, they actually don't get anywhere because they don't actually start off small and do what's accessible. This is the same thing I tell people with meditation. I dare every person in our audience to start meditating for 5 minutes a day. Just 5 minutes. Sit there with a timer, back straight, do not move. Eyes open, about 6 to 8 feet in front of you. Just let them sit down there softly and just sit. In breath, out breath, again and again. 5 minutes. I don't try to start people at 30. I don't try to start them at 60. I don't try to do anything. In fact, I don't even care about those numbers. What I care about is I want them to have the practice and start off at a number that's going to be effective to build that strategy. So that's my concern with this, is that I think the healthier way to approach self-improvement is by looking at it as a gradient and moving into it slowly and trying to be very clear about where your spoons are at as far as how you set goals. Now, Xena.
Oh, yeah. So building off of what just said, I think there's a big problem with how we teach goals because, like, how many New Year's resolution projects did you do in grade school? They ask you that a lot. But at what point, I really don't remember people ever going like, here's how you build the steps, right? Here's how you actually plan out getting there. And if you're like trying to learn a hobby or something like that, and you haven't been checking in with yourself throughout the year, what have you been doing? Let me tell you how many bullet journal people get on YouTube, okay, and have been doing this for years, and then go, I'm quitting because I'm not getting anything out of it, and I've been doing this for years. And I'm like, wait a minute. Weren't you supposed to be checking in with yourself? Like, did you skip that migration step where you, like, check in? No, I think that part is huge. Like, why keep up a habit if it's not helping you, if it's not meeting you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you haven't been checking in the year, what have you been doing? So yeah, that's all. It's building goals is how we get better at things. And if you need help setting goals and learning that strategy, by all means, reach out to people. So
absolutely. Okay, so next, this is from Emma Wee Lass. These are for both/either of you. Is one type of talk therapy usually enough, given sufficient duration, good working relationship with a therapist, engaged client, for meaningful and significant healing from trauma, or are additional modalities usually necessary, e.g., EMDR, somatic experiencing? So I will say this is, yes, SMART goals are good, Vogerbits. So it depends on the trauma. So to me, and you can speak to this with your own personal experience, but to me, there are layers. I often look at like trauma as sort of sticking your hand into like a swamp and pulling out like a huge twisted ball of twine. You may be able to untie parts of that, but it may actually pull up bigger stuff, or you may be connected to something more, or there could be more connected overall. So the problem is you may get through a piece of work and have genuine healing, but that may not take care of all of it. So like for me, I did tons of therapy and also was in the Zendo. It was great. But it didn't really pop until I went to do Gestalt therapy, until I had that 360 of people giving me lots of information. The same thing's true with the EMDR. I didn't really start having a really solid understanding of some of my triggers, including the level to which I dissociate, until I did EMDR. So to me, the answer to that question is, what is the trauma, and is there any still residue from it? Leo Child, so let's do yours real quick. Xena, do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, so we do have a video, by the way, exploring psychological trauma modalities that we talk a little bit more about these and what our favorites are. for me, I've definitely needed multiple types of therapies or different approaches to different things.
Yeah.
I find that as my chronic health issues have changed, so does the nature of the trauma that I go through. PMDD seems to have its own way of working its way into trauma. And that one has been really rough. And so I do find that multiple therapies are helpful, or at least a therapist, especially who can kind of do multiple things, I think is really useful. That's all.
So we're going to skip real quick to Leo's and then we'll go back to the rest of the list. But real quick, this is really a you question. Leo asks, "Oh yeah, I got caught up in the conversation. My question is, do you guys have any binding tips if things like binders and trans tape aren't available to you?" Sports bras. My big thing would be sports bras, compression bras.
Yeah. So
don't use ace bandage. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Do your research. Don't overbind. Don't make it so you can't breathe. Sports bras. I know people who have doubled sports bras, like wear two at once. I have not done that though. That's probably not the best plan. Tomboy X makes a compression top, which I find really nice, really helpful. It is kind of it's half compression sports top and half binder kind of deal. But it still covers basically like everything like a binder would, but it is much easier to get on, doesn't compress quite as much, and I find that much more comfortable for me. Again, that's tomboyx.com, and that's the compression top. And they've got one coming out with adjustable straps. That would be my suggestion. I think
just don't use ace bandage because I've heard too many horror stories.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that like you got to be real careful with dysphoria not to hurt your body. Like that's a big one. And so again, if there's any ways you can get binders, there are groups and organizations that help people get them. So see if it's a monetary issue, see if you can look into one of those. If it's a physical issue, see what you can work out maybe with a doctor. I know that I had, some breathing issues, and my doctor was like, okay, well, here's a few things you can try. One of them being like vitamin D. I was dealing with like some blood pressure issues. And so she gave me a few things to try as well. Mm-hmm. And getting the right size, you can always go a size up. That's the way to go. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So I hope that helped, Leo. And thank you so much, Vogerbits, for the donation.
Thank you.
Next we have, again, this is from Emma, and it says, do you have a favorite trans/gender related story or anecdote, yours or one that you've heard? If so, would you please share it now?
I don't know if I've got one favorite. I don't know. Jess and I are constantly sharing memes. I mean, what do you got or anything? Or
yeah, it just depends on the memes. Yeah, Leo, hugs to you, and I hope your mom comes around. If she wants to watch the channel, I don't mind responding to her questions sometimes. And I can definitely go over that. And best of luck with therapy, like Tiamat said.
Got it. Okay.
Gender related trans anecdote. I mean, like one of the major anecdotes in the trans community is like signs, and that one always makes me feel very warm and fluffy. Is like playing female characters in video games, right? Like always doing the always playing female characters in D&D, always, making weird comments of like, I wish I was a girl. I do find those kinds of like memes and those kinds of anecdotes really interesting. As far as like West videos, I don't really have a great one that comes to mind right now. I could just be being fluffy though. Do you have anything that comes to mind?
No, I think that's, yeah.
If someone sees something in sweet memes or something that we shared, let us know.
Yeah. Probably just going to that channel. I just like cute pictures. I really do.
Dark Slimeo asks, here's a couple questions for either of you. Based on what you've seen with the vaccination efforts in the West, have either of you seen anything that gives you hope about vaccines reaching Africa countries or places like India? What would you suggest to people bummed out about it? I haven't seen shit. I've only seen that these people have not been getting the amount they need and that the U.S. has been playing really weird with the rules.
Yeah, I have not been able to keep track as well either.
As far as what to do about getting bummed out about it, I mean, as far as what to do about it, that's a lot more complicated, how to deal with being bummed out by it. Leo, real quick, I get that she's open to it, but also, like, I don't know how old you are, so I can't say for sure, but the simple thing is that she needs to take that up with a doctor, endocrinologist, and all the people involved. She's not actually capable of making that assessment. Because it's not really an age thing. It's a question about what makes you feel better and what makes your overall quality of life better. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to this question. I guess what I would say to deal with being bummed about these types of things is to recognize that this is a really good opportunity to remember what our focus needs to be. If you're in the US or you're in the global north, you need to put pressure on your countries to be more open and distributing of the vaccine. The fact is that we need to hammer on the Biden administration. Just because they are pushing this vaccination effort here, we need to push against them. And we need to make it clear about this. The other thing I would say about getting bummed out is to realize that one of the things is that this is outside of our sphere of control. The thing that sucks about India, for example, is if I remember correctly, it's run by a guy named Modi, and I remember him being very nationalistic and racist. I don't have a ton of data on that, but I guess my thought would be is some of these countries are ones that have been forced into poverty, and some of them are ones that are that have stuff around them that we might need to like negotiate or figure out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I would say the best thing you can do ever is to try not to take in too much information. Let yourself, have breaks. And, push against lawmakers. That's the best thing I say. As far as what to do beyond getting bummed about it, talk to people, get angry, kind of feel better for it, and go from there. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Nope, that's about just covered it. Yeah, let's just kind of...
Do you see workers' movements and co-op organizations gaining more a foothold in the coming year? Yes. I think that the pandemic has kind of shattered some illusions about work. I just don't know what degree that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's my thought on it. My hope would be that. I also think that working at home needs to become more of a thing. Because I work from home and I think it's great. What would you say to people worried about people to that are coded as highly intelligent, Peterson and Rowling, becoming cults of personality based on transphobia? Do you have any tips for combating this with a focus on mental health? Sure. I think you have to separate from those people the idea that intelligence and mental health have anything to do with each other. In fact, I've actually found intelligence tends to be a deterrent, because the smarter you are in therapy, the more you tend to have better bullshit to keep yourself locked in. Dumb people are really bad at telling themselves negative stories. And so the thing I would say just for that, and please feel free to come in, is just, I think you need to paint the fact that their intelligence doesn't make them necessarily experts in all things. Just because Rowling is a decent author, and that's debatable, her ability to actually understand medical science and make psychological prescriptions is not real. As far as that goes, she is an idiot. She has no formal education in this. She has no doctorate. She has no master's degree. She is no one as far as that stuff's concerned. So her talking about this, she's actually out of her element. Peterson, the same thing. Peterson's is either psychiatry or psychology. But the problem is, he's already kind of given up the ghost as to whether or not... Bye, Leo.
Bye.
He's already given up the ghost that he doesn't really think trans rights is a thing. He kind of hates us. And as such, I think you need to point out that bigotry can overseed intelligence. Right? There are plenty of people that have been smart and also incredibly bigoted. Oh, Lil had a mention about the vaccine thing. India produced literally tons of vaccines, but they get sold overseas. Yeah, because from what I told, they really haven't been helping their own population. I don't understand enough of it to say any more than that. You have anything you want to add to that? As far as the...
Nuance?
Yeah.
Nuance wherever possible. That's the most I've got. Like, be really critical. A lot of critical thinking skills.
Trent 3000 asks, do you have any tips for getting through a breakup? I'm in therapy. I know all the standard stuff, but I'm struggling through it. Just what are some good tips to regain confidence in yourself and trust in people again when they weren't just your partner, but your best friend years prior? Cry, cry, cry. No, actually, I do think that's true. To some degree, you have to be in a place where you're willing to actually feel it. I think a lot of people, when they get broken up, they tend to avoid it by either searching for new relationships or bury their head in the sand or bury themselves in their work. I think you need to take very real time to feel it and feel the actual hurt. The other thing that I think is really important is that your confidence and ability to trust, it ideally shouldn't be affected by a breakup. unless there's something toxic or really problematic. And the reason I say that is this. Breakups happen for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes a person's perception of you and the reason they broke up with you isn't about you. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's useful feedback, and you should take that up and talk to your friends and your loved ones to see if there's something useful there for you to understand. But if they just say something off the wall wacky, like I want to leave because I've never been to France or some weird shit, like they just leave because out of nowhere, that's not about you. That's about something that was psychologically going on with them that they didn't know how to deal with. And as such, there's not really much that could have been done because it's not about you. I know that hurts to hear, but it is really not about you. If it truly is, though, if there is a way in which this was about something you did or whatnot, I would just try to learn from those experiences. I don't think single actions, let's say you cheated on your partner, single actions denote a person. So that's kind of my thoughts offhand. I think just letting yourself really feel it, let yourself be in that grief, take time away from relationships, don't rush into new ones, etc. Xena, do you have anything you want to add?
What just said, yeah.
Nothing you have anymore? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I haven't been through that many like long-term relationships, so.
I'm the longest.
That's true.
What are your fave dinosaurs or prehistoric animals?
I'm not that into dinosaurs.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's got a big mouth and little arms. It's awesome. Xena, what is your favorite Linux distro and why?
So I did tell Verona that if we accidentally start a flame wars that I need help. So I like Linux Mint. Mint is my favorite. Aesthetically, I really like Cinnamon. It just feels good to use. It's super stable. Everything just works. And on my main laptop that I use day to day, no, I just need it to work. Okay, I don't feel like configuring a whole ton of stuff. So yeah, I like Linux Mint. That being said, I can totally just do command line only for server stuff. I do when I work with my Raspberry Pis for things. Also, Ubuntu I have more concerns with as far as privacy and some of the stuff that they've done, so it's really not one that I recommend as a company, but it's still good. I mean, it's still good though. So
yeah.
But yeah. Linux distros are perfectly fine based on people's personal preference. It's okay. I promise.
You're allowed to like what you like. Always, yeah. You're allowed to like what you like.
Yeah.
Moving on. What's your favorite thing about Discord? The number of people I've connected with. Full stop.
Yeah. I like that it gets me online and online in a way that still lets me be social.
And I do like overall the format of the UI. There are just things that are really irritating about it.
Yeah.
So I think I really like Discord.
There's so many tools and stuff as well for it that really let us customize it and do what we have. If we can dream up some wild thing that we want to do with it, we can find a way to do it.
Yeah.
So. Mm-hmm.
Ruth asks, for both, do I need a bunch of equipment in order to start streaming? I want to do art streams on either YouTube or Twitch sometime in the foreseeable future. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to want a computer that is strong enough to be able to run Streamlabs. If you're doing art streams, then what you're probably going to need is to buy 2 decent webcams. You can probably get 2 decent ones for what you're starting off for maybe $35 each. I would get if you don't have enough USB ports, I would get extenders, or I would even go so far as to get like a pluggable like I have. But what the goal is that you're trying to make it so you can basically, and Zena's been talking about doing this for a while.
You need one pointing down at your work and then one pointing
at you.
Or however you decide to do it. Some people just do voiceovers. It depends on your style, but I
like being able to see the person. That's a personal.
Yeah, I mean it depends. Sometimes just watching them paint, so it depends what your style is.
But yeah, I would say probably a decent camera or 2. Again, you don't have to buy one as expensive as us. You could probably buy just buy like basic meeting cameras and stuff like that to start off with. You might have to make a rig up so you can have the thing above you, because that's going to be a thing. And the other thing is just making sure you have decent enough internet. So I would make sure you never run your stream off Wi-Fi. That is a poor decision. You want to be corded in Ethernet wise. Mm-hmm. If you don't have decent enough internet, you might want to see what it's going to cost to make sure that you have fast enough internet, because especially with art streams, if you're going to put money into a good camera, better than the one that I'm suggesting, then what you're probably going to want to do is use that camera for the art. Because you're not really focusing on you. It's not like me and Xena where we're the centerpiece. You're focusing on the art, so have that one pointing down, and you're going to need to be able to have that at a high enough resolution that A, it looks good, and B, it actually is noticeable, and actually people can notice details. In that case, you're also going to need to have decent enough internet, because the higher resolution you go, the more internet this consumes. Like, we're going at about 1080p and 60 frames per second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's basically what you're going to need. And you can look online. Xena's been looking into doing this, as like figuring out how to make a rig for art stuff, but that's about it. That's what you're going to really need. Also, I noticed you sneaked in there without getting a donation in. Tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Take it out of you later. Anyway.
Hannah.
Oh, Hannah just mentioned for Leo Childs, in case Leo watches this video, I second the Tomboy X compression top. As someone large-chested, a binder, of course, is better, but it is a good middle ground.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice because the compression top is kind of sold as a sports compression top, okay? So it gives you a little more wiggle room to kind of be like, well, hey, what about this? I can still, wear this all day. I can, move around in it, okay? I don't have to, right? You don't have the same thing with the binder where you can only wear it for so long. So I think the compression top is kind of a good sell if you can kind of get the points right. But also, if you're a parent, I need you to let your kid do the trans thing and do what they need to do. Because let me be clear here.
Yeah, you let them guide you, because you do not have the expertise they do. This kid has people in their Discords, they have individuals online, they have information they can look up. I'm going to guarantee you that even if this kid has some things misunderstood, they are going to have a better conception of how they experience their gender than any adult will.
Well, and I want to acknowledge the risk here, okay, right? There's a physical risk with binding and making sure that you do that safely, okay? But there is also risk from, depression and dysphoria triggering issues for them, okay? Like, you could stop them from doing the things that they need to help themselves, or you could actually work with them. That's your option.
I still need to do that Dear Parent segment. By the way, would you guys be interested in that? A Dear Parent segment where we start off and basically like create a choose your own adventure, and the two adventures are parents who are supporting their kids and giving them resources, or parents who need to improve. I think that'd be fun. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah. So
we got another sneak-in question. Again, no donation. I see how you people are. For Xena, what species would you choose for a fursona?
Bunnies.
Bunny. I see. I knew this one. I was like, I already was going to look for someone to make a bunny sona for Xena. The artist who did mine might do a bunny sona.
That's right. Bunnies are my favorite.
But yeah, so I think that's all the questions. If anyone wants to donate in the next 3 seconds, they can get another one in. Mm-hmm. But we'll leave it there for now. Otherwise, so if you got any donations coming in, that's great. Otherwise, we will call this segment and say everybody who posted and asked questions, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the people that donated to get last minute questions in. And if there's nothing else coming in, we'll see you in the next one, okay? All right. Bye.
Bye.
If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, consider donating to us. You can support us on our website, transgirltherapist.org. You can also help us on our Patreon, link below, or you can become a member here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching.